Hello, everyone, and welcome to afternoon tea. We are doing this live instead of morning tea live. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Today, I am so excited to have a very special guest on. Her name is Kathy Harmon-Luber, and she is a certified Reiki master as well as sound healer. And we're going to be talking all about her intuitive approach, really speaking the language of intuition, how to connect more deeply to your intuition, and all things intuition. So you guys can drop any questions in the comments that you may have for either of us, and I'm gonna give her a minute to hop on. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, and yeah, how you're doing today. Did you guys see the full moon last night? It was absolutely just beautiful and wild and magical. All right, let's give her another minute. Okay, I see Kathy has joined. And then if you want to just press request to join, I will let you in, Kathy. I'm so excited for this conversation today. It's going to be so good. Kathy, do you see where it says request to join? Oh, here, I can invite you. Let's do that way. There we go. I just invited you to join. Do you see the invitation? Okay, just invited you again. It should have popped up. Do you see the invitation? Okay, that should work. Oh, wait, it says you're unable to join. Accept. Is IG giving us difficulties? Oh, there we go. Hello. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Good.
Good. We made it on. I know sometimes it can be technical difficulties or no fun.
Yeah, they aren't. And thanks for being patient. I live on a mountain and our internet has been wonky. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I can imagine.
So
Where
we're
do you
great
live?
to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Where are you tuning in from? Where do you live on a mountain?
Idlewild in Southern California.
Oh, wow. I've never been, but I've heard amazing things.
Yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
fantastic.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'm so excited to have you on and to chat all about intuition and just share a little bit of your magic. I always like to start with a little grounding. So if it's okay with you, I'll guide us through a little grounding meditation, and then we can do some introductions and then dive in from there. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So if you guys are tuning in, you can also do this grounding. You can sit up nice and tall and closing off the eyes. And let's start by just taking a big deep breath in together and release. And just noticing how your breath is feeling in this present moment. Noticing any sounds or distractions in your environments. Noticing any thoughts coming up. And as each thought comes up, you're going to imagine placing it on a cloud in the sky, watching it float away, knowing you can always come back to it if you need to, and then refocusing on your breath. And then noticing any body sensations, any areas of tension or tightness. And doing a quick body scan, relaxing your brow line, your jaw, your shoulders, your heart, your chest, your abdomen, the base of your spine. Noticing any tension in your legs or toes or fingers or arms. And sending an intentional breath into any part of the body that needs it most. Noticing any emotions that need to come up. Noticing any resistance that's coming up to being in your body or to slowing down. And just deepening your breath to show your body that you're safe to just be in this present moment. And now together, let's take 3 long deep breaths. You can place your hands on your heart and breathe all the way into your body. And slowly exhaling out of the mouth. And again, breathing all the way in. Holding at the top. And release. And one more, breathing all the way in. Holding at the top. And release. And just allowing your breath to return back to its natural rhythm. Noticing if anything has softened or shifted, or if anything new has shown up. Knowing you always have your breath to come home to. And when you're ready, you can start to take any small organic movement, maybe some neck rolls, or some side stretches, or anything that your body's asking for as we start to slowly come back to the present moment. And whenever you're ready, you can start to slowly come back. How did that feel?
That was really nice. Thank you,
Good.
Rachel.
Yeah, of course. So let's dive into some introductions. If you want to just tell people who you are and what you do, and yeah, a little bit
Yeah,
about
I'd love
yourself.
to. Thank you. Yeah, it's a delight to be here. My name is Kathy Harmon-Luber, for those of you who don't know me, and I am a certified sound healer and Reiki master, artist, musician, and shamanic healer as well.
That's amazing. How long have you been practicing all those things for?
Yeah, interesting question. They have evolved as so many things in our lives do as we follow our true nature. Things sort of just evolve. I began my shamanic practice probably about 20 years ago. And then I've been a lifelong musician since I was a little girl. And I have always loved music and sound. Probably 20 years ago, I began going to drum circles and things like that. And loved going to sound baths and found them to be very relaxing. And then I realized that this is something that I could join with my music practice. And so I really began to learn more about sound healing, and that it's for more than just relaxation and relief from anxiety.
Yeah.
Right, that was why I originally started with it, but I've learned that the healing power is so deep. And then probably about 15 years ago, I began with Reiki, and in several years got certified in all of those things to make it more formal and to really just take a deeper dive into all of it. Yeah. So
Wow.
for a while.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love how they just all kind of come together, right? They're all so deeply connected in their own ways. So I really love
And it
that.
didn't set out that way.
Mhm.
I mean, this is part of the healing journey that I just began to find things and pull them in close when they felt organically right, intuitively, they resonated with me. Um, and it has become this, but it's been kind of like an unfolding, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love how that happens when you really start to get into alignment and things just start unfolding in a way where they all come together and you're like, wow, could not have even anticipated this. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll do a little introduction for those from your page that might not be familiar with me. So my name is Rachel Kelly. I'm the founder of Rachel Kelly Coaching. I'm a former clinically trained therapist turned into healer coach in this online space. I have my own healing business where I really focus on healing attachment wounding and the nervous system, rewiring out of survival mode into safety, abundance, expansion mode, focusing on particularly anxious attachment. That's my favorite to work with, and doing a lot of reparenting of the inner child, and yeah, helping you build internal safety in your body so that you can truly feel safe to create a life beyond your wildest dreams. So that is me in a nutshell. So let's dive into this intuitive healing approach that we've talked about just before connecting, like what that is, what that looks like, how you can more deeply connect to your intuition. I know we've talked about like how does intuition speak and just the language of that. So I'd love to hear just a little bit more on, yeah, kind of your experience with all of that.
Yeah. Actually, my deep dive into really expanding my intuition. I think, like a lot of people, many, many years ago, I wasn't really so much in touch. We think to ourselves things like, "Oh, I should have followed my heart," or "I should have trusted that hunch." Um, and many, many years ago, that's where I was. Sometimes I'd listen, sometimes I wouldn't, and then a number of very big health challenges came my way, like it does for so many of us on the healing journey. We have these health obstacles, really, that cause us to do one of two things. We either ignore them and they get worse, or you get more and more of them, or you really begin to listen to your body at a very, very deep level. And that's what began to happen with me. And I started doing even more meditation than I had been doing more sound healing and all of the things. And what we find is intuition speaks louder to us when two things: when we listen, of course, and when we act on what we hear.
Right.
It's really a matter of trusting that inner voice. It's our heart, it's the voice from our soul. Wayne Dyer once said, if prayer is you talking to God, intuition is God talking to you.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Right? Isn't that
So
wonderful?
true.
So you could think of it as God or angels speaking to you, or your own heart, or your soul, right? And so that's where I really began to not only just say, "Oh yeah, I've got intuition, and I'm going to try to listen to it more," but to make more opportunities to really listen. And what we find, this is my story and the story of so many of my clients.
Yeah.
What we find is, so often when we begin to listen and we begin to honor it by taking action, we open that channel of intuition more and more, and it gets louder and louder, so that you really do hear it. And you don't just hear it when you're meditating. I hear it all through my day. It speaks in my dreams.
Right.
I've had recent health challenges where the past 3 months of dreams have been warning me about this, interestingly enough.
Wow.
Sometimes I wake up with just a word, like a word came to me: nervines. I woke up with that word one morning. I'm like, "What are nervines? I don't even know what they are." And so I did my little research, and that's often how we can honor our intuition when it does speak. We can say, "Okay, I'll go look that up." And I did, and found out it was very much for relaxation and for sleep. And I was having trouble with both of those at that point in my job. And so it pays to listen and honor it, and then it just begins getting louder and louder. I have intuition showing up in my dreams. It shows up in signs, in synchronicities, in little whispers, in a song that you hear. When that's happening, you know you are in the flow of your intuition. And that's what we should all strive to be, right? But like, life is noisy.
Yeah.
We have these devices, and I love the grounding that you did. I do that often throughout my day, just because we get really charged up. We're getting messages, we're scrolling, we're getting the news bombarded at us, and intuition doesn't speak when we're in that state. We really need to be in a much quieter, more grounded state. So I love that you started us off with that.
Yeah. Oh, just so many amazing nuggets that you just shared that I just resonate so deeply with, because I think when people come to me and they're like, I don't know how to connect to my intuition, or if I ask them, like, get in your body, what is your intuition saying about this? And they're like, I don't know. When you say, I don't know, it's, well, first of all, you always know, but it's that there are things blocking you from actually being able to hear it. And so what you described of when you first start of connecting to your intuition and being able to do that in stillness and meditation, from there, that's only the foundation that then builds so that you can hear it all throughout your day and in your dreams. And it's really being able to release those layers that are getting in the way, really, which is, getting stuck in your head, anxiety, like you said, being overstimulated and overcharged with all of these things that we have bombarding us in every moment of every day. But it's so true that it's always speaking. We just have to get quiet enough, still enough, connected enough, slow down enough to actually listen. And then I love, love, love what you said around the more that you do that, the more that your intuition gets louder, because I experienced that in the form of really like faith and trusting the universe, that it can feel so hard to do that. But then when you do it once and you get that confirmation of like, oh my God, wow, this thing worked out, or, I got this sign, and you feel that moment of connection, you then start to experience more of that because you're more open to it. Right. And it's the same thing in the form of intuition. Like, I really view those one and the same as is exactly like you said, intuition is like God speaking to us. Right. And so if we're experiencing that depth of connection, and then we just continue to be more open to it, it then just confirms it again and again. And then we increase our belief in it, which then is natural intrinsic motivation building for us to really be able to take the time to connect. And then noticing when we're having a human moment and when it's feeling really difficult to connect, and really getting clear on why that is, right? Like, what's actually blocking you from that. And, a lot of what I focus on is how our attachment wounding is blocking us from feeling safe to listen to our intuition, because we could have those nudges all the time, all day long. But if it goes against what our families want for us, what our partners want for us, what society wants for us, it can feel so terrifying to actually listen to that. And so we need a lot of support and holding in that. And then once we do, and we do it even just that first time, and we see, oh my God, look, it actually worked out for the best. And like, it all happened the way it was supposed to, it then just continues to increase that belief. So I think, yeah, it's so powerful when you can really start to hear it louder and louder. And I love what you said about dreams too, because that's something that recently I've been experiencing more of, where I used to just have like chronic nightmares all the time growing up because I was so anxious. And then when I healed that and I healed my attachment wounding and my nervous system, my dreams have been so much more in alignment with the present of what's happening. Like right now, I live in San Diego. We're having massive flooding, not where I live, but where I used to live. And I had a dream literally the night before it started, this flood of like having to evacuate. And so just seeing how my intuition is speaking to me, because I actually feel safe to listen to it now, it's a game changer. Like, life just gets to feel so much more connected and magical in that way.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you really hit on it. It's very hard to start trusting that at first. Like you were saying, so often I hear this with my clients too. It's so often either people say, I don't hear it, and then they begin to trust it, and then something happens and they get a message and they're like, well, I don't know that I want to trust that. Part of it is that message is coming from your higher self, your subconscious.
Yeah.
It is you speaking. And so it's learning to build that relationship and really feel safe in that relationship and taking small steps with it.
Yeah.
Really taking small steps. And I love what you said about your dream the night before. I have a lot of precognitive dreams. I didn't used to. I've been an avid dreamer for probably 20 years, and keeping dream journals and really trying to understand them and dig into them. And if it's a scary dream, going back into it and facing it and saying, what is that about? And it's like any fear that we have,
Right.
when we face it, we kind of take the air out of it.
Yeah,
right?
we
And
take
so
like
it
the
becomes
charge.
less frightening.
Yeah.
But we have to face it sometimes. And those kinds of dreams, like the one that you had prior to all of this flooding that's happening in California, or was, um, especially in San Diego, uh, those kinds of things don't come through if we block ourselves off to it. If we say, yeah, I don't know, I can't trust my intuition. So that's not going to come through for you. So it's like anything in life. It's
Oh wait, sorry, your audio cut out. Oh wait, I think I can hear you. Your audio cut out for a sec, but I think you're back.
Yeah, sorry about
Okay.
that. It is about building that relationship, just like we build a relationship with our inner child. It's building a relationship with our intuition.
Yeah.
And there are ways of doing that. And on the healing journey, it's really important to follow intuition. Our bodies tell us when something is wrong. Our bodies send us signals: pain, uh, panic attacks, anxiety, rashes, fatigue, you name it. Our bodies are sending us a signal that we have to pay attention to. They're little warning signs, little red flags, right?
Totally.
And so our intuition can help us to get to the point of understanding what the root of that is. Like those things are happening in our bodies, and they're real. But when we take time to really focus and tap in to our intuition and ask the questions, what are you trying to tell me? That's one of my favorite questions. What should I do? What are you trying to tell me? Like if you're in pain or something else is going on, why am I feeling this particular emotion right now? And really diving into that, paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And it speaks to you. It really does.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
It's super powerful. And I think that's one of the main things that I notice, especially with clients, is that we miss out on the message. We miss out on the lesson of what's being communicated to us because we are so stuck in this mindset of things are happening to us, right? So let's say there's pain or there's sickness, and we get stuck in this victimhood of like, oh, it's happening to us, or that's where the inner child comes out and is like, someone just save me from this pain, or like make it all better.
Yeah.
And when we shift into how this is happening for us, what is my intuition? What is my body? What are these symptoms, either physical symptoms, emotional symptoms? What are these symptoms actually communicating? We then get to reap the benefits of that lesson. But if we don't, we then just have to repeat the same lesson over and over until the universe is like knocking louder of like, are you actually listening this time? Because I can think about times where like even just I have scoliosis, and so sometimes I have some back pain. Most of the time I don't, if I'm actually doing what I need to do to take care of myself, doing yoga, stretching, all the things. But I remember there was a time where it felt like kind of random, like my back just went out. I was like, that's weird. Like, I don't know what kind of triggered it this time. And it was during the time of a birthday of a loved one who had passed. And I remember getting this like intuitive hit really clearly of like, if my back hadn't gone out, I probably would not have actually taken time to really just be with my grief. And so even with that, it's like, okay, how is this happening for me? It's allowing me space and encouragement and that gentle nudge that I needed to actually tend to my grief. And that is something that if you're just in the day to day and you're like, trying to avoid your stuff, then you might not actually have the opportunity to do that. And obviously, we don't need to be in pain to force ourselves to feel our grief or whatever's coming up. But I think it's just an example of when we're able to switch it from, oh, this back pain, like for me, victimhood, to, oh, this is happening for me so that I have some stillness, like literally forcing myself to be still and rest to actually process what's happening. And I see that with so many of my clients where things will come up and it's like, yes, I know that this feels so shitty in the moment. And I promise you, if you can get still and slow down enough to actually look at what are the lessons, how is this here to actually help you grow and expand and get to your next level of expansion, it's going to be so worth it. But you have to first get still enough to actually listen, which is the challenging part.
That's right. And that I love that you share that. And that is my story. Back in 2016, I was doing a million things. I had a full-time job. On the side, I'm a fine art photographer. I sat on 3 boards of directors. I had all this stuff going on. I was on, I traveled internationally. I was going on other road trips and things. 2016 was a packed year. Like you, I also have a tiny bit of scoliosis, but I have 7 back diseases, 7 spinal diseases. And I knew I was getting every intuitive hit, Rachel, that said, slow down, slow down. And my intention was, I wish and I intend that I have time to slow down, more time to go inward, the whole thing. That was my goal, but I wasn't living that. And when the intuitive hits happen, slow down. You have to get some rest for your back. And I decided to photograph a friend's wedding anyway. I decided, to go on a road trip that I probably, really a big road trip, I should not have gone on, all the things. And then I decided to go on a client trip that was a 2-day away from home in Costa Mesa. And ordinarily that was no problem. And I thought, I'm just going to do it. My back, my intuition kept screaming at me, no, you really, really shouldn't do that. But I really wanted to meet the client. It was the first time we were meeting in person.
Yeah.
I was really excited about the work. December 8th, 2016, I come back from that client trip. I'm standing in the kitchen talking to my husband, and one of the discs in my lower spine, the discs are like the little jelly cushions that right between the vertebrae, it ruptured, and it ruptured disastrously. It was the 4th disc rupture in that lower back area. And we were able to get me to bed, to lay me flat down. And the long and short of the story, it's described really in a lot of detail in my book, Suffering to Thriving, Your Toolkit for Navigating Your Healing Journey. That book came out of this. But I was basically bedridden for 5 years. 5 years, flat on my back. I had to give up everything that I had been doing. I was an avid hiker and swimmer and biker and just really, really very busy, full, what I would have called the life of my dreams. But I didn't listen to my intuition.
Yeah.
I was on the intuition path for decades, right? And it's like, I knew better. I really knew better. And it hit, and I was down for the count. But what you said, everything happens for you. And I now see, for the past few years, that spinal disc rupture that left me bedridden for 5 years was a gift. It was a treasure. Out of that came more time for all kinds of things, contemplative writing, more sound healing, more Reiki, all the good stuff, all the things, the meditation, everything that I wanted to have time to do, I got.
Yeah.
So yes, it happens for you. And when you're on a really rough part of the healing journey, whether it's physical or mental or emotional, it feels like a big terrible thing. Like it's the disaster of your life. And it is in one way, it is.
Right.
But there comes a point when we go through that portal of viewing it through the lens of this is a gift. It got me to this great gift where I am today, where I'm doing sound healing and Reiki and shamanic practitioner work, and where I'm working with clients on this journey and doing more music and everything that I love.
Yeah.
That got me here. I don't think I would have gotten here otherwise. It
Right.
happened for me. And it's not always pretty. In fact, often it is just really a mess.
Yeah.
You know, I work with a lot of clients, and they're just in what feels like a horrific mess of their lives.
Yeah.
But we there is a path through it, and you get the tools that help you to get there. But there are two lessons in it. One is follow your intuition. The other is the other intuitive hit I was getting all of that time was slow down. You need time to slow down. You need more time for yourself. You need more time to go inward, to hear what I call in the book your inner healer.
Right.
We have our intuition is our inner healer. Intuition guides our life in many, many ways, but healing is a very big part of that. And if we stop to really take the time and go inward and listen, we get those intuitive hits that guide us.
Right.
Either they're messages, but part of it is asking the right questions. What I love to tell my clients is when you get quiet, when you go for a walk on the beach or in the woods, when you meditate, get yourself to the place where you ask the questions, what do I need to know? What action do I need to take? And I love this question. I can't remember who to attribute it to, but it's something like, what can I do today that my future self will thank me for?
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
meditate on those questions. People get upset and frustrated and say, oh, I didn't get an answer right away. I didn't get an answer. Well, pay attention to other synchronicities. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to overhearing conversations of people. Pay attention to, walking into a store and hearing a song that has a message that might pertain to it.
Right.
Those are the way intuition speaks also, not just a direct whisper, although sometimes that happens too.
Yeah, it's really like opening yourself up to hear it in all the different ways that it can come in, not just through the ways that you think it should come in or that it will come in.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, just thank you for sharing your story around that. I think it's super powerful, and it's an example of how you were meant to slow down regardless, right? And so when we have our intuition speaking, we are meant to do the thing regardless. And so the universe then gives us an option. Either you're going to listen to your intuition and you're going to get to that path that you need to get to, or if you're not listening, we're going to force you to listen by having something happen that literally has to have you slow down. And so you already had that intuitive hit. You were meant to slow down. Obviously, we don't want it to have to happen in that way where it's like you're injured, and also being able to look at, oh, I really got what I needed. And by getting what I needed, which is such a theme that I focus on with my clients of like, the universe does not give us what we want. It gives us what we need. But ultimately, by giving us what we need, we do end up getting what we want, because oftentimes our egos or, like our brains can delude us in thinking like, oh no, I actually want to do this thing. And we get so attached to just like how it appears on the surface, right? Of like, I really want to do this thing, and so I'm going to do it. But what we're actually wanting is peace and inner safety and self-love and abundance and expansion. And we get so caught up in this urgency of life of like, I have to do all the things immediately, right? Like you were describing, I have to go meet that client. I have to go on this trip. But the root of all of that, if you're really looking at, well, why do I want to do all these things? It's because you want to feel connected, you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel, joy, like all of these feelings that you're going after. And then actually looking at, well, can I do that in a way where I'm still actually honoring what I need? Because in doing that, I'm going to get a lot more of all of those things that I want. Right.
That's right.
So every time we think, oh man, the universe is blocking me from doing this thing. I had this happen recently. I was supposed to go on a trip and I got the flu instead. I was like, damn it. Like, I was so bummed. I really wanted to go. I was supposed to see one of my favorite bands in concerts, paid all this money to have like the VIP option, all these things of like just so easily I could have gone into this victim mode of like, I'm bitter, I'm resentful, I'm angry about it. And then, fast forward even just a few weeks, and I guess it's been like a month at this point, I can really see why I was not meant to go. And I'm so grateful for that now. But sometimes when we don't see it, because sometimes it takes a little while, right? We don't know exactly when we're going to get that moment of clarity of like, oh, that's why that wasn't meant to happen, or that's why I wasn't supposed to be with this person or go to this thing. That's where trusting our intuition and trusting faith and trusting universe comes in, because we have to know that even if we don't know right away why, it's still happening for a reason. It's still happening for us. And the more that we lean into that and release, it's happening to us mentality, we then actually get to learn those lessons and get what we're both needing and wanting that much quicker when we actually surrender to it rather than resist and fight ourselves on it.
That
So,
is so, so true. And I just love that. Yeah. And that is a big lesson. And the surrendering part is hard.
yeah.
Like we do have all these things that we want to do, but part of what we can do is say, if I want something, what is under that? What is the emotion that that gives me that I want?
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
gets down to that, meditating or thinking about just contemplating, what do I need? And when something pops into your head, like, I need a vacation, all right, what do I need from that vacation? Well, simple stuff like rest and joy and peace and all of those things. And so we can get down to the emotion of what we want, and that is the listening piece.
Yeah.
That's that intuition speaks those things. What are the
Right.
emotions that I need and that I want? What are other ways I can get them if, let's say, work is too busy and I can't go on a vacation, and rather than, and I say in my book, and I practice this in my life, every moment is a choice.
Yeah.
We can be bitter about that. I've got too much work to do, I can't get away on a vacation for another 3 months. And I can be really, really upset and bitter and frustrated by that. Or in this moment, I have a choice. And if I've identified that what I need is peace, I can find other ways to find that through meditation, through visualization. Visualization is amazing, right? You can go on that vacation, go on that vacation every single day of your life, actually. Right. And so it's important to key into what your intuition is telling you, what you need, and find ways of doing it, and not having the attachment like to that vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
Surrendering to, okay, what I need right now is rest.
Yeah.
I came to this moment not that long ago where I just, I have a lot of fun, wonderful, great things I'm working on. I'm excited about life. Every day I wake up and it's a joy. But my body just really needs rest. It's winter. And here in California, we tend to have, pretty great weather compared to other climates. And so we want to be out and doing lots of things. And the truth of it is, we're in winter. Our bodies sense that it is winter. Yeah. Winter is a time for hibernation and resting. Yeah. And I came to that, it was like, it is winter. It's a little cold outside. I want to be doing all of these other things, but my body, when I would say, what do I need right now? What is it that you can share with me that I need? Why are you so fatigued? Why am I having a hard time getting my energy going? It's not usually a problem for me. It's like, I just need to rest. Yeah. And when I actually took like 4 or 5 days to just be very low key and rest and read and play music and do fun stuff, I recharged. Yeah. And now I'm really good to go. So it is about listening to that and knowing that it's also not a one and done.
Right.
Like I know that it's still winter and I have energy, but I need to build rest into every day.
Yeah.
So it's the subtle listening and then surrendering to that and saying, and surrendering, you know, I've had clients say this, like, I don't want to give up to this. I don't want to give in to this illness or this injury. Surrendering is not giving up.
No.
Or just giving in to whatever challenge you're facing. It could be, anything else. Like it doesn't have to be healing. It could be divorce or loss of a loved one, grief right now. I mean, we've had so much grief in recent years, even, and it isn't giving up and getting down and down the downward spiral and all of that. I define it more like going into the flow of the river, flowing with the river of whatever emotion that you're in, fully experiencing it. If it's grief, going with the flow of that. Grief, as we know, comes and goes.
Right.
Not every moment are we in grief, but yes, all of a sudden, or whatever emotion that happens to be, or whether it needs to be your body needs rest.
Yeah.
Going with the flow of that and not trying to swim upstream and fight the current.
Yeah.
That's been a big lesson in my life.
Yeah,
It
totally.
comes again and again, like you said, until we get it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in a much better place of, and intuition, I have to say, intuition really helps with that, because if you are tapped into your intuition, you are already sensing, wow, I'm feeling really fatigued. I probably should take, a rest this morning rather than jumping into that and launching that great big project,
Right.
that I'd like to do. It's like go with the flow of your body. Like, when you have energy, do stuff. When you don't, rest. It's that simple.
Right.
And intuition tells us that. Pain is another thing, or anxiety, and all of those things. They're signals of what we need to be in the flow of.
Yeah.
If we're really super anxious about something, it's like, okay, it's time to go take a walk in nature or
Yeah.
something, or do the grounding, or do a meditation, or just sit and go read a book. But whatever works, we're all different. We all need different tools in the toolkit.
Yeah.
But know what those tools are and know how to access them when your intuition is speaking to you, that's what you need. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something I tell my clients is every day really is less is more, right? So when we're able to just simplify, then we're actually able to slow down enough to connect to that intuition and stop fighting ourselves. And when resistance does come up of, I'm resisting going on that walk or resisting, giving my body rest, most of the time that's our inner child, and we have to really look at, okay, why am I not feeling safe to rest? Why am I not feeling safe to actually listen to myself? And that's when we can always discern between our inner child being in the driver's seat of our lives versus our adult selves, is when we attach onto things of like, I know I'm really sick, but I want to go to Disney with my friend and I'm going to do it anyway. It's like when we force things thinking that, we're attaching on of like, this is the last time I'm going to get to do this thing, rather than, oh, what if by giving up this thing that I'm not meant to do and actually listen to myself and give myself what I need, in return, I get something even greater than the original plan, because that's how it always works. The universe rewards courage. It's not easy to listen to intuition in a world where we are so fast paced, where we are so conditioned to abandon our own needs for other people, when actually that's not relating through an open heart. That's not relating through authenticity. That's relating through trauma responses of people pleasing and not feeling safe to actually prioritize yourself, which is the kind, open-hearted thing to do. So for me, I know before I did this work of reparenting my inner child, a lot of it was like, I know I need to rest, but I didn't fully feel safe to just be and to just allow myself to rest. Like it was, my nervous system was so caught in that sympathetic go, go, go survival mode, where I would tell myself, I would like delude myself. I would tell myself, oh yeah, I need to rest. And then I would like binge watch TV, and it's like, TV is not actually resting. It's actually very stimulating for your mind. And so when people are like, I just want to come home and veg out and do something mindless and rest, you're not actually resting. Video games, TV, phone, scrolling, like all of that is highly addictive and stimulating to your mind. And so rest is actually removing all of that and actually just being in the present moment. Taking a nap, putting on a sound bath, putting your hands on your body, taking some deep breaths, like actually allowing yourself to slow down without all of the noise and the distraction. And when resistance comes up, you want to come into relationship with that. What does the resistance have to say? Why is my inner child not feeling safe to slow down and actually listen to my body? And the more that you do that, the more you realize how much better you end up feeling, the more it positively reinforces you doing more of that, and the safer you feel to then listen to those symptoms and signals that your intuition and your body is communicating to you. So just like you were describing at the beginning of this conversation, like the more that you do it, the more that it speaks louder and louder, and you strengthen that relationship. And I really just love the example of both of our dreams. It's just such a powerful example of how the intuition will just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And people can look at other people and start comparing and be like, well, this person, I always used to think this, like, oh, well, this person just has a special gift that I don't have, right? Because my dreams don't look like that. And now that I'm witnessing my evolution with that, I'm realizing, oh, wait, we all have these gifts. We all have the ability to slow down, to connect so deeply to ourselves. And part of that is developing like our heightened senses and our intuition, because when we're no longer living through the trauma and the conditioning of our past, we then get to the fun part, which is like such deep presence and deep connection with, intuition, with the universe, with higher powers. And we just get to give ourselves what we actually need, which then leads to what we actually want. And life gets to be better and better and better.
Oh, I love that you just said that, Rachel, honestly, because that is the journey right there. What you said about how we think that resting is, watching TV or scrolling or just whatever it is. We've got this kind of societal conditioning, which is all about you got to be busy, you got to always be doing something, right?
Right.
We are human doings, not human beings. And it's a big shift. Many years ago, I went through a lot of inner child work to deal with some trauma issues. So that would how you described it was exactly my journey, and getting to the point where I would say, okay, I have to just be. I was so uncomfortable with that.
Oh yeah, it's the
20 years
most
ago, I was
uncomfortable.
so uncomfortable with that. It felt wrong, and I had to really sit with it. And what I felt at that time was my inner child felt like she would be punished for not being busy. That's what it, if I just all the inquiry I did came down to that. It comes down to family conditioning and societal conditioning. You should be busy, you should be productive, you should be doing something. Don't just sit there. What about, in school we hear, um, don't sit there daydreaming, right? Like
Yeah.
daydreaming is discouraged, but
Right. Killing our
in
imagination.
resting and robust self-care, daydreaming is a fantastic thing. We follow the curiosity, that thread of curiosity. Let your mind and your heart go where they want to go.
Right.
And that's how you find soul purpose and the life of your dreams, really, is by following that, by opening your heart and listening. But we have to be really aware about that, all those little voices inside of us that say, shouldn't you be doing something? Don't you have work to do? That kind of thing. That is probably one of the biggest challenges that we all face. That is a human experience. We all face this because of conditioning of one sort or another. And it's the obstacle to listening to our intuition. But when you can get past that obstacle, and really be with yourself and be comfortable with yourself and be comfortable with whatever comes up and open your heart and listen to the whispers of your heart. That is when what you said, you begin to build this life of your dreams. That's where it comes from. You follow that thread of curiosity and it takes you to this place. It's how I got where I am today in
Yeah.
my life, which is enchanting and magical and wonderful and amazing.
Yeah.
I have all the problems every person has. I still have health challenges, family problems, all of it. We
Right.
still
We're
have it.
still human. Yep.
We're still human.
Right.
But we embody our lives in a way um, that is more connected to our true nature, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all about how you choose to relate to it, right? Because, like you said, we're all human. We're all going to have all the human things. And how do we actually get to relate to it? And I love what you said about just daydreaming, because I think this is something I've had to work on a lot just with my own healing journey. And then also with my clients, is that we have to allow ourselves to follow that imagination. And then we also have to look at, where are we getting stuck in fantasy? Because that was actually one of my biggest, like, almost like an addictive behavior, like a protector, where it felt safer to stay in fantasy rather than believing I could actually create that, right? So that's kind of the perfect balance, is exactly what you described, of following that curiosity, following that imagination, allowing your mind, your heart, your soul to speak to you about what you want. And then the next part is actually feeling safe to then create it and believe that that's actually possible. Because what happens is, conditioning, like we have in school, of don't daydream, we get conditioned that these things are not possible. Oh, that's unrealistic. Oh, that's just a dream, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, like all of that can be so powerful as information of what our soul is longing for. But then our very human work is to actually do the belief work of, I can create that. It doesn't have to stay a dream. And when we don't actually have that belief, we then get stuck in fantasy of, like, I'm just going to dream about that rather than believing I can actually create it. And then also what you said about, yeah, just feeling safe to, be, it's like we've been so conditioned of this sense of urgency of, like, time is running out and life is short and you have to, like, just use every moment. And I see people living that way. And every single time it's this question of, well, how present are they actually able to be with all of those things? Right? Because again, less is more. So even if you have a list of 10 things you want to do, I would much prefer to choose 5 of those things and actually be present with each of them, rather than rushing through in this urgent way, because that in and of itself is this trauma response of your body being in that go, go, go mode. And it's like, I'd rather have a day of doing nothing but feeling so deeply present and connected to myself than checking things off a list and, like, being in this frenetic energy. And that's not to say we can't have both. We absolutely can do so much in our lives and also still be present, but that does require periods, like you said, winter, of hibernating and just slowing down and really connecting to stillness and to a lot of doing what feels like nothing, but actually just that ability to recharge. So that's something that we fight ourselves on a lot as humans, is just actually allowing that, knowing that it's going to help us have that energy to do what we want to do, but in a grounded and present way.
Right. So much of our lives just slip by because we're not living in the present moment.
Yeah.
We're doing all these things. We're multitasking, right? Like there are lots of things going on in our lives at any minute of the day, and we have to break that and come into the present moment
Yeah.
and be with everything we're doing, even if it's just, you could be at your job, but be present in what you're doing. You could be washing dishes or going for a hike or whatever it happens to be, but be in that present moment of all of your senses.
Right.
That's what we
Absolutely.
sometimes don't do. Like, we see what we're doing and our minds are just going a mile a minute trying to, get it all done. But are we feeling the feeling and sensing and the sense of smell and sounds, and are we really immersed in that experience? I mean,
Right.
even just like going for a walk in nature, are we really using all of our senses? Sometimes we're not. Sometimes our minds are just going crazy,
Yeah.
trying to solve a problem, right? And
Right.
a walk on the beach becomes like, did I see anything? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, we can really
Right.
get caught up in our minds.
Yeah, or
And
even
so
like
it's
a
about
yoga
coming into
class.
that present, coming
Yeah.
into that present moment. And I love what you said about dreams. You know, it is really a fine line, because what happens is we can just live in that fantasy world. I've done that. Part of my trauma response is the leaving pattern, right? Running away,
Right.
fantasy, daydreaming. That is a running away. We do that. Like a lot of kids in school do that. Like if you don't want to be in the present moment, you just run away to that place in your head. And it's easy to live there and put down roots, actually.
Yeah.
But what we have to do is take that dream and then say, what is the one step that I can do today? Take one step of that dream. You're making it a reality. So it's okay to have all the daydreams and everything, but root it in one grounded step. And again, I like to apply that through the lens of, what can I do today that my future self will thank me for? What's the one step I can do?
Right.
Let me do that today.
Yeah.
And it grounds the dreaming. So,
Right.
like, I visualize a lot. I dream up big plans and projects and all these things. Like you, I've got a very vivid imagination, and I love that part of visioning the future. Right? That's really a powerful and exciting and something I'm passionate about. But we have to ground it. Like it's
Right.
fine to have that and even take notes and all of those good things. But at the end of everything I do or write, I say to myself, what is the one thing I can take today? And then tomorrow, what is the one thing I can do today?
Yeah.
And be fully present in that, like really, and get in tune with, like you might shout out something, oh, I'm going to do this today. Then get in touch with your intuition and yourself and say, how does that feel? Does that feel like what I want to do today? Does that feel like next best step? Is that what my body needs? Is it what my soul needs? Is it what my emotional body needs?
Yeah.
And find out if it's really resonating. If it's not resonating, think of something else.
Right. Because then you get clear on, was that desire actually coming from my intuition, or was it coming from my
That's right.
mind of like, I should be doing this? Because sometimes the thing that we actually need to do is less, like taking something off our plate, or, actually resting, or taking time to ground in to actually decide, how are we going to go about creating this dream rather than staying stuck in the fantasy. So, yeah, I love all of that so much. And I'm sure we could talk about this forever and ever. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you feel is important to share with those listening, or also just in terms of if people were interested in your services, Reiki, sound healing, all of that, getting more in touch with their intuition, just anything that you have to offer, anything going on in your world right now?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll say that in 1 minute about how to get in touch with me and connect. But what I'd like to leave our listeners with, Rachel, is something I've been thinking a lot about, and that is, our world right now is crazy. There's just so much going on. We live on a planet in peril, and it's easy to feel hopeless. But what I believe is that every single one of us on the planet at this time was born here for a reason. We have a purpose. And it's a bigger purpose than our lives, our family, our little communities. It's about the global community. We are all little specks of light. And all we have to do to fulfill our life's mission is identify what is our gift, bring it forward to the world. The work you do is your gift. The work I do is my gift. People might be saying, I don't know. I don't think I have a gift. You do.
All have a gift.
Everyone has a gift. They have their unique gift. And it might sound strange and far out to you, but you have a gift. Bring it forward. Tap into your intuition. Learn what that gift to the world is and bring it forward. The world needs each and every one of us. That's what I would say in closing. Now is the time for everyone to live our gift,
Yeah,
basically.
like you're here for a
Every
reason.
That's right. Every person is here for a reason. We are all unique. Some of us feel like we are strange and weird and far out, and that's our gift. And it
Yes.
takes a long time sometimes to get to that place to be able to, own your gift. But
Mm-hmm.
but
Embrace it.
everybody is here for born here right now. You need to be on this earth for a reason. So I leave with
Yeah.
that. And for people who want to connect with me, it's really easy. My website is sufferingtothriving.com, all spelled out, all one word, sufferingtothriving.com. There you can connect with me on my social media and my YouTube channel. I have lots of articles I've written, including a recent article last year on the power of intuition. It appeared in Yoga Magazine, and I've got that on my website toward the bottom of the homepage. So lots of
Amazing.
good things and other podcasts as well.
Perfect. And I will add all of that in the show notes so it's easy for
Thank
people
you.
to find. And I'm just so, so grateful that we were able to connect today and have this conversation. And just thank you for sharing your wisdom and your medicine with the world. It is just so needed. Like you said, we all need to really own our gifts and show up with them. So thank you for doing that and just being
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for having me. And it has been just a delightful
Yeah.
heart-to-heart conversation. I've enjoyed it so much, Rachel.
Me
Thank you.
too. Absolutely. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Lovely. Be
All
great.
right. Thank you so
Take care.
much. Have a beautiful rest of your day and we'll talk soon.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.